All right, everybody, and welcome today. I think today is gonna be like a really good stream because we are. I think I should probably have like a couple of hours if everything goes right. It's 5:03 a.m. in the morning. I can't go back to sleep. The baby played it to me like really bad. He's living right now, and we're gonna continue where we left off last night. Well, yesterday, which was on trying the service worker to see if it was possible to intercept the .ass file and get it to work on Crunchyroll. I'm gonna jump into VS Code. I'm gonna share this. Have this in the background to see how it's actually going to work. Let me go ahead and check for. Give me a second. Dashboard Twitch. I need to set up my stream manager. I'm gonna do this over the weekend, like work on all the things around it. Now, the thing is that we're gonna come here to VS Code. We're gonna run pnpm build. Wait, I don't know what this actually ended up doing. Let us check. So it says in here, let me see. Complete service worker removes interceptor.ts, create a new service worker file, events fetch event listener, intercept request to a.ass file. Okay. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm just gonna close you. Okay. Background.ts, which is this one. Rail test. Service workers is the legendary signs over the land of wind. No. The legendary, let's just, because the thing is that the service working here, the legendary, yeah, let's just replace that. Original text is target subtitles URL. Replacing, replacement text. Extendable event. I never heard about it. Let me see something really quick. Live streaming on YouTube. All right. We got all of our stuff in here. Sweet. Now, live time install and activate events expansion. The global scope was part of the service worker life cycle. Okay. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time since I have used a service worker. Because the thing with all of these APIs is that they have begun like to add up. Previously, like you got like all these new features and you learn all the basics, but then like through time they began adding like one or two things, and then 5 7 years go by, and then you got like an entire big new thing that you gotta learn. And service worker, fetch event, respond. You know what? I'm just gonna run this and see what happens. We're gonna go back to Vivaldi. I'm gonna open our trusty old one. Gonna go back to extension. I'm gonna close everything. I'm gonna reload the extension. Can I do? Oh, this is even better. I can filter them out. So we're gonna come back to Naruto Shippuden. I'm gonna hit enter in here. Gonna wait for the entire thing to actually load. Okay. And I think nothing mentioned, right? No, wait. I'm just used to cursor. The thing is that I have no idea if this is going to work. Service worker, CL registration. Oh no, these are like all the service workers from our origins. Well, let me see. I'm not so sure about this. I'm really not so sure. Let's see the vlogs player. How to register service worker from a different subdomain. Oh, this is really cool. How can I register a service worker using a Chrome extension on an iframe? Let's see. ThrowLLM.ai. What's this? Let's look for it. Right click that was not working. ThrowLLM.ai. An operating language model for real world business use cases across multiple. Oh, these are like benchmarks. I call this right. When an iframe is added to the document dynamically, for that will result in the above error, for example. Dun dun dun. Okay, so let me see, because the thing is, right, that no, I forgot. I'm gonna come in here and I think I'm just gonna add it in here because that's the content, right? And I'm gonna add a background.js. And we're gonna do it pm build. Oh. Okay, we're gonna come back. I'm gonna reload the extension. We reloaded the extension. I'm gonna come back in here. Create an object URLs, built-in browser image decoding. Okay, so let me see. Okay, there's no detection. Service worker ready. And let me see if I can come in here. Service worker ready. Okay. Console.log fetch from service worker. I'm gonna come in here. URL. npm build. Coming back in here. Oop. Going to extensions. We're gonna reload the extension, and we're gonna come back to Naruto Shippuden. I'm gonna hit enter. We're gonna reload the entire thing, and let's say what's actually saying. Browsing topics, SDK loader, background.js. It's in here. Oh, I do have a question. Add event listener fetch. Let me look for something. Makes a network request. think this is working. Let me see, service workers, MDN. Show me an example on how to create, register, and do everything with a service worker. Okay, we're just gonna open here and let me see. Type module, add event listener, navigator, load, register, scope. Let me see something. I want to see if we I'm not seeing any registration. Await navigator. Handle ASS rewrite. It's actually saying. This is awesome. So I gotta register. All right. I'm gonna create a new file called register.js. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say, yeah, there's always a service worker window dot add event listener load async. So I'm gonna say await navigator service worker dot register. It's going to be background JS. Well, the thing that I need to understand now, because I remember that the pop-out.ts file, because I don't know, the content.ts gets injected, right? Is it possible to inject a service worker into the main page from a Chrome extension? I have no idea if this is possible. I think that we could recreate the service worker approach. I'm telling you, because I don't want to store those subtitle files, because that means that I have to do storage. It's not going to be big anyways. I could probably use something like Cloudflare, something really cheap. $100,000 requests per day. 30 cents per million requests. Okay. And key value. That would be good. Keys read 100,000 per day. It's pretty cheap. 10 million requests, that's a lot. That's a lot. For $5. I think this would be the solution if I were to host this thing, which I think I'm going to be doing. So I think we already got this. Not really, at least not for arbitrary sites. You can just install base with extension, make it controller. But you can have your extension own service worker. Use content scrapes to have the base as a register as service worker if under background service worker background.js. You also cannot bypass that with some secret APIs, so a secret model prevents. The extension, no full injector service worker. But what if I inject a JavaScript into the site and that JavaScript generates like a blob or a JavaScript file that will work as a service worker? Oh, right. Right. I need that manifest.json. I forgot about the manifest file. No, it's because I need the manifest file. If I don't have the manifest file, I cannot generate a service worker within the site. I completely forgot about that. It's been so long. That's the problem when one works with a lot of these frameworks like React, Vue. Yes, I'm saying React as a framework, not considering a library anymore. And is that you get abstracted so much that you forget about all this main API. So once you actually have to go back, you forget because it's been so long. No, that trick won't work. No, no, that's not possible. No, and that manifest.json, it's one of the first thing it gets downloaded, so you cannot intercept it. No, 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 you can't. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. How could I monkey patch an XML HTTP request from one of the dependencies so I can rewrite a .ass file on the go? Is it even possible? I think I'm just gonna, because I'm gonna time box this. If this doesn't really work, and guys, thank you very much for tuning into the stream. If you have any questions, feel free to enter it into the chat. We, as of now, I'm trying to figure out several ways that we can intercept the subtitle file that Crunchyroll is injecting into the site and make the translations over the fly. To be honest, I don't think this will be like the best way, right? Because that means that there could be like a lot of modifications, and we'll probably be monkey patching it. And I'm just doing this because, like, say for example you got like a new episode, right, and you want to visit, and I still haven't fetched it. Like, I gotta create the script, do the transformation and everything. But let me see what we can do. Yeah, this is possible. This is the hack service workers are meant to avoid, but it's doable with monkey patching, as long as you patch it before the dependency runs via a XHR, not fetch like video tracks. High level idea. Save the original example with the factory level race. What this does. Okay, let me just try this again. I'm going to delete background. I'm gonna say xhr.ts. Gonna come here to the manifest.json and just gonna replace this, the content with xhr.js. I'm also gonna delete register. This is gonna go away. And I'm just going to, I don't know why this is going to be like a self-invoking function. I really have no idea unless it's trying to return, which I don't think so. I don't think it's trying to do that. Right. So I can just safely delete this and paste this. There we go. That's it. It's okay. xhr.open. Expected 3 or more, but got 2. No, this is good. I'm going to clear pm. Okay, let me just clear this. Say pm build. And this actually failed. It says cannot resolve entry model source. Oh, right, because this does this. So I'm gonna come here, xhr.ts. I'm gonna clear everything. Say pm build. I'm gonna build this thing. I'm gonna go back to Vivaldi. In Vivaldi, I'm gonna go to extensions. I'm gonna reload the extensions. Couldn't load JavaScript XR for script. Could not load manifest. Interesting. Okay, I got retry. Okay, all set. I'm coming here. Okay. Okay, let me see something. Okay, open console.log. Intercepted. Console.log. Woo! Clear. Gonna be pm build. Gonna come in here. I'm gonna come. Then I'm gonna reload. I'm gonna come to Naruto. I'm gonna enter. And he's actually, my little kid just woke up. I'll check out if it's. I'm gonna come back. Yeah, come on. Woohoo! It worked. Okay. Got loaded, but I didn't think that it got monkey patched. Probably because I didn't do this. Oh no, it actually loaded in here. So, all right, this didn't work. Can you return back to the original approach? The more that it passes, yeah. This is really impressive. I haven't used codecs yet. That is pretty cool. Cloud tasks disable with API key. I can make this to the edit.hr. Yeah, .ask again, do whatever you want. I'll try codecs next if I hit my limit with Claude. The manifest is just document start. Oh, run it. Document start. Wait a minute. All frames true. Document start. World main. Let's see what it's actually doing. Build test, big build, update to dos, revert to XHR. Okay, let us check what this ended up doing. So, oh, I did this. I put it in the wrong thing. Okay, npm build. So it didn't work. Okay, come in here. We're gonna reload. Come back, reload. Subarashi XHR initialized. Dude, I'm telling you, I think. Well, now it does not. It doesn't. XHR.open console log.intercepted. Console.log ready state change. Clear npm build. I'm gonna come back in here. I'm going to reload the extension. Come back to the main episode. Whoop, 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 whoop. So we're gonna come back to VS Code. This didn't work. Let me see again. Okay, I'm gonna try this like for an hour 30 minutes. If it really doesn't, then it's all good. Canvas, worker error. Which, by the way, I'm just going to do this. Gonna copy this. I'm gonna come back to Subarashi. Gonna end, paste, and XHR. Fetch. No. Then let me look for it again. I'm gonna go to the network tab. Go to the .ass, subtitle octopus worker. Right, because it's in the worker. That's the thing. It's in a worker. I forgot. I don't think it's gonna be possible to patch it if it's in the worker. Let's see what ChatGPT says. I'm gonna come back in here. What if the XHR lives inside a worker thread within an iframe? This is crazy. This is crazy. This is really crazy. Workers and iframes. how can I monkey patch the XHR object within an iframe using a Chrome extension? In utility function, notice how the base methods from the API's prototype object are being fed into the IFE and assigned to the vars open, send, and safely scope to the function block. But what I want to do that? I mean, what's the advantage of that? I only do this. I really only do this, at least from my memory, is if you want to return something, because you cannot return on the main thread. Well, not on the main thread, like on the main script. As well as HTTP request, but not open and then the send method. Critical data of your overrides. Be monkey patch. The minimize. I don't recommend this. With credential getter setter. This never affects the same origin. Via context create the setter route and document starts with the page script. I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced. The problem is that the monkey patching needs to work on a worker thread and on a worker script. Is this even possible? You run the code inside the worker. You could do a similar trick, but against self. Oh no, it's not possible. How to get your code in the worker script? This is the hard part. It's about how much control you have. Plus, you on the side the iframe creates the worker. Change the worker page to point to your wrapper script. This gave you an idea. This really gave me an idea. Well, if I cannot replace the subtitle octopus worker.js file, probably what I can do is that I can send it. Let me see what this did. I could replace the script tag before it loads. No, that's gonna be a problem. I cannot rewrite an HTML like the stream of HTML. No, you cannot currently. This is fundamental decision how worker works. Only by all printers, how the worker creation inject this worker code, how it works. Holy shit, this is awesome. But let me see if this actually works. This is our approach. I have no idea if it's going to work. Return new original worker. Okay, I want to see what happens. Let's see what happens. It's our approach. This is our approach. This is trying to patch the worker file. I'm having so much fun right now with all of this. Let's see what's going on. Did it blow? We reached the worker error. This is freaking amazing. So Worker created patched worker. It actually did. Worker side XHR interceptor starting. Worker side XHR interceptor ready. Dude, this is freaking awesome. Oh my god. Because let me tell you one thing. Another approach that we can actually do is that if the URL includes the style or the libass-wasm, I can just forget about everything. Modified worker code, worker interceptor code, which is, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now, this is the reason why would you use the self-invoking function. You would kind of like protect everything, and you would make it work. Okay, let me see. Interceptor starting. Let me see where it actually goes. And interceptor ready. It says interceptor ready. Yeah, it didn't intercept the URL. Create a proxy. Let me see. Console.log open from a modified XHR. I'm gonna say URL. Come in here, I'm gonna clear pm build. I'm gonna come back to the stream. We're gonna close it. I'm gonna refresh. Let's see if it actually works. Okay, and this was gonna fail. Interceptor starting, interceptor ready. But I want to know, why is this breaking up? Because of course, if I come here to Vivaldi, come to sources, say worker here. Yeah, failed to execute open on XML HTTP request. Invalid URL. No, but I don't think this is gonna show me this, right? This is too hacky. Let me just pass it to Claude to see if it actually works. And me come, where's VS Code? Here. I'm getting, let me see if it actually does this. Well, the thing is that I don't know, because fetch worker script synchronously. So what is this trying to do? Console.log. The URL is URL. Look at this. Give me a second. Pin build. I'm gonna come back to Naruto Shippuden. I'm gonna refresh the page. I am going to check. I know. Right, Jose. Come on. You didn't reload the script. Reload it. Now you can. Still breaking up. But the thing is that the open, it never works, right? because we got the URL is intercepting subtitle octopus worker, which we have over here, the line 7. Oh, the URL is, oh, it actually did it. 10. Okay, it actually did this. It got the interceptor working. And but I never got an error from my side. Created patched worker. Let me see how far we are actually in the. But why are you sending null? What do you send null? Why? This is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I have the entire subtitle octopus code. I'm gonna say, that's what I'm gonna do. Wait, I'm gonna open. I'm gonna say reference.js. No, I cannot do drag and drop. I forgot. Is it like with ALT that I can do this? No. Reference.js. Okay. I've attached the bundled code from subtitle octopus that is currently causing the error, so you can inspect and make the fixes. And we're gonna see how this actually plays out, because this is getting like really interesting. It's really interesting. So again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to intercept the subtitle file from Crunchyroll and making on the fly, how do you say this, like translation and adaptation. I don't think this is the best way. I think that the best way is going to be for me to actually scrape all this information and then have it like loaded into a database. I was looking into Cloudflare Workers, because if this is going to be a free extension, this is probably going to be very expensive, because I think that we're probably going to have a few hundred or maybe like up to 1,000 people that are going to be using this. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that much, because if Romaji would have been like such a big thing, people would have complained by now. So this is going to be like really niche, but I think this is going to be like really fun. The thing is that I need to find like some sort of automatic way, so I don't keep like having to constantly like refetch the thing and do all this manual work. I'm thinking a lot of things. It just says now 4 times smaller. I don't care if it's smaller. I really don't care. Right now, that's not the problem. We got to make it work. And it should work perfectly now. What do you do? Somebody exerting the work is passed main thread via post message. Okay, guys. Let me see. See what happens. This is one of the beauty of these tools. It's like the understanding that you can have with all of these things can actually go really far. It did blow up. Oh, right. Wait a minute. I didn't reload the extension. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna do this. Another build. Gonna come back. Vivaldi. Reload. And then we're gonna come back to Naruto Shippuden. We're gonna enter, and it's gonna blow up anyways. Wait, it didn't blow up. The subtitle loaded. Huh. So I should definitely go to. See what happens. It's part of the loading. Stop. And nope. It's come on. 136. No. Let's see. I don't think this is gonna work. Error blocked by the client. No. So this is the legendary sandstorm of the land of wind. It didn't do it. But it didn't do this. It didn't do this. Okay, 11 more minutes before I just decide just to drop in a replacement of all those subtitles, because I am not gonna keep investing into this approach when I have no idea if this is gonna be like the best one. Because in the end, I have to create like a fuzzy matcher that will be able to match all of the subtitles, and I'll have to download the subtitles and kind of like train the algorithm a little bit. It's not gonna be like machine learning or anything like that. I don't think. It's gonna be like a simple replacing fuzzy matcher, which is gonna be more than enough. Like a regex extractor. And I can use an LLM to actually train it for that thing. Let me see what it's actually doing. Windows.post message intercepting sub content and working in it. I don't think this is working because intercepting subtitle octopus worker messages, which is this one. Dun, dun. Original post message transfer. So what is this transfer variable? Is this from? Oh. Okay. Let me see if by console logging post message. I'm gonna click in here. I'm gonna clear the thing. pm build. I'm gonna come back to Naruto Shippuden in here. I'm gonna refresh the entire thing. No, forgot. My bad. I have to reload the extension just in case. I'm gonna reload the entire thing and see how it actually will load. Okay, post message. It's actually passing. It did go through. Okay, if message and type of message, check if the worker in a message with subtitle content. There's something in subcontent worker in it. Okay, I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'm gonna console the log. I'm gonna reload the entire thing. God, damn, I forget. Always forget. Come on. No. Adios. Okay, I know that. Let me reload. Okay. Refresh. Post message. Target canvas. Target video. Current time. 110. Because you know what would be really interesting if I could just get the final output of the subtitle, and then that would be like the best thing ever. Let me try that approach. Because right, if it's actually working on a worker, then it should definitely come back with a message. Target video, current time 108. You know, I'm not trying to understand what's actually doing right now. I'm just trying to figure out if this is going to work or not. Can we try another approach? What if we intercept the post message that the worker thread from subtitle octopus is sending to the main thread with the subtitles already rendered? If I log the main message on line 33, I'm seeing something, but I don't know if this is the actual worker. What if I just listen to all the received post messages from the main thread of the worker, from the worker. Currently using Whisper Flow. It's something that it actually took me a little while, but then I like through the time I got better with it, and it has been like really good. Because one of the good things that happens whenever you are talking is that you begin to it's like it triggers a different part of your brain, and then you're able to externalize different things, and then you're able to actually externalize different things. But at the same time, it's also very challenging because we are used to work very deep in our brain, inside us, and we just keep texting. Typing and everything. So this approach, let's see how it works. Let's see how it works, and how it ends up like doing. I have no idea. This is probably gonna be one of those things. I'm gonna give it like 5 more minutes and see how we end up with this one. This could potentially work because the thing is that somehow the worker thread is going to process those subtitles, and it needs to pass it back to the main thread. And there must be some sort of code that is the one injecting into the canvas. So if I can intercept the injecting code into the canvas and get the already parsed subtitle file, I think we can do something. My only concern, and this is the reason why I never took this approach in the first place, is that I don't know the code that is going to get injected into the canvas, because it's not going to be text. It's not going to be text. It isn't. It isn't. It's going to be transform. I think, like transform canvas, transform path, which is actually doing that. That's the hard work of this thing. And I think that's where Subtitle Octopus is doing. Wait, give me a second. I need to reload this thing as well. Come back to Naruto Shippuden. And let's see if worker message canvas. First of all, I don't think this has worked. I don't think this worked. Like nada. In fact, I broke the subtitles. Now it's not even rendering on the file. I'm gonna come back to Visual Studio. I'm gonna see code, and dude, this is just gonna be a lot of hacking. We already tried so many things. Person number 2, worker messages bidirectional, and I have no idea what you'll see in the console. Worker video, worker message video, worker response canvas. Okay, I'm just gonna tell it that this is what we saw. This is what I'm saying. Intercepting XHR. I don't think so. I think that what we're going to be doing is that I'm just going to create a backend. I'm going to use Cloudflare workers for this and see if we can actually inject the file directly. Which, by the way, I know that some of you are actually tuning in right now. We already got the subtitle file working. I don't know if I have broken the code, but oh yeah, it's probably not going to work with all of this funky patching, but I'm going to show you in a little while. Just hold on. Because I used to do like fansubbing. Back in the day, I used to be a timer for a group called Hatsuyuki. And I would just be the one in charge, like setting out the time, which that wasn't like a really big deal. The good people were like the translator, that was amazing, and the editor. Those two jobs, I would say, like those are the most important things, because the timer can be learned by anybody. And it's like so interesting because you begin like to learn although a little bit of Japanese, and you use a program called ASAP for this, which you would load like the video file, see the spectrum, and then try to fit it according to the frames. And you would have to time it in such a way that it would be enjoyable to the audience. You would need like to break the different line. If you had like three lines, break it into two ones. But one thing that I did, and I think like nobody cared, and they were happy that I did it, was that I would add the Romaji translations to the subs, and that was like awesome. That was awesome. It would give you like a very different experience. That was one of the things that when Darabayo came to the scene, I didn't watch a lot of things, but I used to watch a lot of Naruto, Bleach. Those were my two things, and I love just the attack names in the Romaji version. It kind of like you felt more connected with the thing, and that's what we're trying to bring back. The thing is that once Crunchyroll came in and the official subs came, all of this fan sub had to scatter, and it was reasonable because of all the DMCA takedowns, all the all the lawsuits and everything. What we're trying to do in here is that we're trying to leave. Although I don't think that Crunchyroll will feel mad about it, and if it does feel mad, then we're just gonna take it down. I'll just comply with everything like really fast. I don't want to go get into any trouble, but it's like you are getting 100% paid for the service. There's no way that we're using this to circumvent your service. This is just gonna be a way that we can enhance what we have already, because what we have we don't like, so we gotta fix it, and that's what we're trying to do right now. So let me see if this actually finished and come to this. Okay, I have no idea if this code is gonna work because I haven't checked it. I haven't studied it. I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna make it like the last refresh to see if this does anything, which I have very low expectation that it will. And if not, I'm just gonna tear it apart. Okay, it threw an error. So we're just stopping this approach altogether, and I'm just gonna delete the XHR from here, the reference.js. We're gonna go with the scraping approach. We're gonna just go with the scraping approach. I'm gonna go here to manifest.json and document start. Delete this D8K. I'm using Vim just in case, Vim motions, in case you're wondering. And we're just gonna rebuild this thing and see if what. Oh right, we gotta go to beat because all of these are manually wired. I'm gonna come pnpm build, and I'm gonna come here to this thing. I'm gonna refresh. No, forgot. Reload the extension. Refresh. And I want to show you something really cool. I'm gonna okay. So you already saw like the very small subtitles from Crunchy, right? You get to see this. So this is legendary sense of the land, which by the way, I think. Okay, this loaded it. Ah, there you go. Take a look at this sharpness. I just loaded the subtitles. Take a look at the difference of the quality of the subtitles. Unload subtitles. Load subtitles. Unload subtitles. Load subtitles. It's like way sharper. It's way sharper. It looks way sharper. We're currently right now. If you didn't see if you didn't realize what I'm showing you, this is the intercepted script. And if we come here to 9:30, this is gonna be like my testing episode, and I just play play. You're gonna see this. Ah, man. Horiki fu Injutsu, Sen no Rikyu. I didn't update the bottom part, but we're gonna get there. This is just the kind of like the proof of concept. And now what we're gonna be doing is that we're just gonna intercept all the subtitle files. I'm gonna create like a huge ass database. I'm gonna be using Cloudflare because it's the cheapest thing that I can actually do. And subtitles files are very small. It's just like a few kilobytes. For example, this one that I downloaded directly from Crunchyroll, it's just, let me see, a 25 kilobytes. It's gonna be awesome. So that means that like a good gigabyte, a couple of gigabytes, which is going to be like really cheap on Cloudflare. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Cloudflare workers storage. I don't remember the storage. It's the worker key, which I think that's the thing that we're going to be using for the database, which, well, or the D1. I need something really cheap. I think the D1 database is going to be, so it allows me to expand above the small thing. D1, and we need something for object storage, the R2. So that's what we're going to be using. Let me see something. R2 pricing. Does it work in here? Pricing. Yeah, it has it. It's good. It can be, because of course I gotta take into consideration the following, because the backend isn't going to be very straightforward. So here's the thing. We have to calculate all the costs. Let's do this exercise on stream. And oop. Delete this. Delete this. So we're gonna have our backend system, which I'm gonna be writing it, of course, in Node and in Cloudflare workers. And we gotta take into consideration our, first of all, our requests to the backend. Just say backend requests. We also have to take into consideration, this is how to estimate a cost for our thing. Because of course this is gonna come out from my pocket and I don't want to spend money. I was considering, I'm not kidding you, I was considering on using Google Sheets as my backend, but I didn't know how well it would actually, it will scale really well. It will scale really well. If you don't know about this, levels.fyi, this site, which reached like to 1 million plus views concurrent, like views per month, its entire backend was built on Google Sheets. This was crazy. Google Sheets. Millions of users. Sheets as a backend. This is crazy. We continue to do Google Sheets throughout our operation. We're now also relying on PostgreSQL. Start simple and iterate. Yeah, that's the thing. I want to do the same thing as I did before a while. It was great. What are some of the things available that I'm excited for? Is because of the mental fatigue is the backend. It is. Because of processing, storing, and building static sites is not super challenging, and I had to think. Mainly, you have Google Forms, Google Sheets, AWS Lambda, and AWS API Gateway. Has longer latency and isn't performant. By Google Forms. The user interface can be replaced with Google Forms, database can be replaced with Google Sheets. And the API server can be replaced with API Gateway. Yeah, but in my case, I need a backend because I need to store workable for 24 months. So our user and data group we started running into each. Yeah, I'm not storing anything into JSONs. I'm actually storing it into actual blob files. So it's just better this way. It's just better this way. So we're gonna be configuring, and the backend request, we're also gonna have the storage, which is going to be R2. And storage always comes into two flavors. We also have to take into consideration the network transfers, which are are actually, guys, the the most costly part of a storage solution in the cloud, especially the egress, which means like getting it out. Well, if you go to Amazon, for example, you're gonna see like the S3 bucket. The S3 bucket has very cheap pricing. Like you can store terabytes of files for under $10. But once you start taking into consideration the networking costs, you're gonna have a really bad time. And that's where one of like the hidden problems comes, because once you have like internal services and they are not routed properly, meaning that they do not communicate when you have like more complex stuff like a virtual private network or things like that, and they're not routed properly, they may make like the requests via the ways that aren't the way that they were supposed to be configured, and you're gonna get like charged more. Not because it's like badly configured, but Amazon gives you like free access through certain configurations, and you do not take advantage of that, and then you get axed with an incredible huge ass bill. And we're also gonna cost like the actual storage. And come in here. It's gonna come in here. We'll also have to take into consideration our database. It's gonna be very simple, but it's like gonna be the entire, and it's gonna mostly matter for storage. And there are times that also network. No, the storage, the writing and reading operations are generally the thing that we need to take into consideration. So we're gonna do some uh, napkin calculation, back in the napkin calculation, to see how much it will actually cost. So this will be like a really rough estimation of our backend, how much it will cost. And I'm going to use like a Google Sheet or an Excel. I do use Excel like locally. I tend to track my macros for the gym and everything in here. And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a Cloudflare worker. Zoom this so you guys can see it. Cloudflare workers estimation. This is something that most programmers never do, and believe me, this is something that's why you get very surprised when it comes to the billing. It's like one of those things that like you're playing with fire and you don't protect yourself until you get burned. And Cloudflare is very cheap. That's a good thing. So we're gonna come in here and start with the workers. Open here in a new tab. In fact, I'm gonna tab stack all of this. Oh, tile, no, move. Where's my stacking? Where's my stacking? Is it in tile? No, it's not in tile. This is really cool, but no, this was not what I was looking for. Oh, I didn't see it. I forgot. Stack for selected tabs. Okay, there we go. It's much better now. And we're gonna go to Cloudflare worker. I'm gonna be pricing, and it says 100,000. No, we're gonna pay for this, like out of the gate. No, well, not right out of the gate, but we're probably gonna have to pay for this. 100,000 per day, 10 million included per month. Okay, so standard. The pricing for Cloudflare workers is going to be $5, and it's like $5. And let's say main or base price. Kind of here, and come in here, workers $5, and that's gonna give us 10 million requests. 10 million. And we're gonna come in here. By the way, what I just did in Excel, if you want to know, it also works for Google Sheets. If you press Control Shift and 4, it will add the $sign. Control Shift 1 will add the commas or the dot separator. You will also, one nice trick that I love when I'm representing very big numbers, they can use the scientific notation. And you do this by doing like, for example, if I want to say like 1 million instead of 10 million. I come here and press 1, then I go Shift E, and then I just add the number of zeros that I want, and I say I want to have 6 zeros. I just press enter. It transforms this to the scientific notation, right? But you can see that it actually completed the number for you. So what I do is that I transform it from the scientific notation to the number notation by doing Control Shift and 1. And there you got the million. If you want to do this with dollar signs, you can do this. If you can do this with time, Control Shift 2, and it has like a lot of cool tricks with this. And believe me, those things will save you a lot of time. And it's one of those skills and knowledges that you will be able to carry on for life, because Excel is not going to go anywhere. Now, okay, now we got the D1. We're going to have the pricing. We're going to come in here, usage, scale to 0. Okay, this is good. Yeah, because that was another pricing that I didn't take into consideration. The storage, yeah, but if you go to actually, this can also kill you, and it's the number of instances. But since we're working a serverless environment, which by the way, people, you didn't realize it, but when serverless came in, it was way more difficult to work with it than it was today, because right now everything is expected to work with serverless. Like you have a lot of services that will do that. But back in 2017, 2018, which was the time that it was actually ramping up, serverless was popularized by Amazon in 2014 when Lambda came out. And while you could run full-fledged applications, like for example, you had to connect to a database, you had to configure like a pooling system, which you still have to do. Like if you're using Supabase, you're using Neon, you're using Planetscale, the pooler is still there, but it's already done for you. You don't have to configure that. And that was very important, because when you were working with all these SQL environments, like the number of connections you would have a lot of problems with it. It would drop if it actually exceeded a certain one. And the problem was that the serverless, since it was like turning in, turning off, turning in, turning off, or you could have the problem that you would have like so many instances running at the same time, like 30, 40, you would just saturate the number of connections that the database would have. And it would just be a mess. So that you would create what it was called like a pooler, like a connection pool, which would mean, imagine like a small layer that would say like, okay, I have the database connection. I'm going to give you a connection. You stop using it. Okay, I still have the connection. I'm just going to give it to another worker, another thread that was actually using it, another Lambda that was using it. And you would do that. I've never configured one myself, and I decided to avoid that problem altogether. And I remember that I was working on a service back in 2018. I was using Lambda at the back end, and I mean as the infra, and DynamoDB as the database. DynamoDB was really good, but it came with a lot of caveats. Especially that's why I decided not to use the Cloudflare KV, because that DynamoDB is a KV storage, and it had a very powerful access patterns, but you couldn't query the data in a lot of manners. And if you have like a lot of applications that would evolve over time, that you would need to query it from different places, or it was very tabular by design. In my case, I was working on a learning management system for schools, and it required like doing a lot of like manual a lot of joinings and a lot of things. It would be awful. It would be really awful. Be real awful. The best solution that time, I think, if I would come back, I would just have done Excel. I did find, I mean, SQL, MySQL, or Postgres. I didn't know that at those time they had like a JSON field, which I think has been like a game changer. That's why we are using a lot of now, like Supabase and in Planetscale and all of these SQL services, because we can finally store like unstructured data. We got the structured data for the things that we know that they don't change, and unstructured for the things that they do change. Now, the thing in here is that okay, let's just got that. We're gonna have now the pricing for D1. which was gonna say, okay, the workers, and we're also gonna have, wait, let me give me something. Service workers, and we're also gonna have, give me a second, because I want to know the number. Okay, and this is the number of requests. I'm gonna have it for 10 million. I think this is a lot. This is absurd of number of requests. 10 million requests is a lot, and I don't think I'm gonna be actually doing this. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna add like into my indie hacking folder. I'm gonna create Suvarush in here. Costs. And that's an absurd number of requests. And I don't think request CPU time, 7 milliseconds of CPU time per request. You think it's gonna take that little? Probably it's gonna take that little. But the thing is that, oh right, it's CPU. So we're gonna just add like 15. And using the rest 7 milliseconds. I don't know how little we're gonna be using. It should be pretty fast because we're just gonna be reading files. It's just gonna be like, seriously, the backend. The only thing that thing is gonna do right now is just read from the database. So, and it's gonna be pretty fast. It's also gonna perform like, I think, like a series of authorization and everything, but it's okay. I think that we're gonna give it like 100 milliseconds, 50, 100 milliseconds. Although I know it's gonna be pretty fast, but CPU time. The thing is that I don't know. 10 milliseconds CPU time per invocation. 30 million CPUs. Additional million CPU. I don't know how to calculate this. I really don't know. But let's just say I have no idea, because additional million per million CPU milliseconds, and we're gonna probably use 100,000 CPU seconds per request. That's a lot. That's really a lot. That's a lot. Because what I'm saying here is that no, wait. I put in here, and I don't know, say value. 100 number of requests is gonna be like 10 million, and here's gonna be CPU time, 100 milliseconds, and it's still included in the price. It's just included in the price. Something I dislike about Mac OS is that I cannot merchant center through keyboard. At least I haven't found how to do this. So we got the number of requests, and let me see if it actually does that. Yeah, that's a total thing. The subscription. Yeah, that's like a lot. 10 million requests. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna reach that. At least not anytime soon. And okay. Oh, it's really cool. We can actually use a cron trigger. I'm gonna see out how, if we can actually do this later on. But again, I don't think it's gonna be like expensive. I remember that when hosting the actual services, it would be very expensive back in the day because servers have become way cheaper. Network data was way cheaper. But I remember, like, for Hatsu, Yuki, the guys would spend like $300, sometimes $400 per month just hosting the entire thing. Today, that very same service will probably be like $15, $20 a month, thanks to Hatsner. Got like a lot of egress, a lot of network bandwidth, and you wouldn't have like all these problems that we have today. Okay, so we got now the D1, which is going to be our database, and we're gonna come in here. I hate the ALT focus on Mac OS. Rose red, 5 million per day. Pricing, billing metrics. First 25 billion per month. Oh no. Queries you run against D1 will count as row reads, row written, or both. Scale to 0, not billed for hours capacity units. You're not running your queries against your data, you're not billed for compute. This is awesome. This is really awesome. Frequently, have a pre-plan. You have to work a pre-plan along with liability for die and experiment with the one for free. Oh wow. Oh wow. There's D1 charge for data transfer egress. No, it doesn't. Additional compute. Oh wow, this is really powerful. Oh wow, this is really good. This is really good. It's really good. The egress, that's the thing that I'm telling you that actually kills you. And this is very expensive. This is very free. You got 5 million per day. I'm not even counting this. 5 million per day. Rose red. And this is gonna be heavily red size. I mean heavily reading service. The writing probably is gonna be me. At least 100,000 per day. First 50 million per month included. First 25 billion per month included. Jesus Christ, this is negligible. This is really negligible. This is really negligible. It's gonna be 5E9. No, this is out of this world. This is out of this world. It can get very cheap. This can get really cheap. This is awesome, man. This is really awesome. And no, we're not using D1 and the storage. It's R2. R2, I think it's probably gonna be the most expensive out of the three. Oh man, I'm surprised. I didn't know I've never used D1, and D1 is like really good. You see, 15 per gigabyte per month. It's gonna be like, we're gonna use standard storage. So we're gonna get. Let's estimate that all of these files, and I'm being absurd. Yet, for example, Naruto Shippuden has 500 episodes. If we multiply it by the 25 kilobytes, dude, for the entire Naruto Shippuden, we only have like 12 megabytes. And this is like a really big series. Yeah, we're probably let's just say, and I'm being very, 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 how to say this, like cost conscious, or when very conservative. That was the word I was looking for. Very conservative. I don't think, let's say 10 gigabytes. If I just use the entire Crunchyroll and I just shove it into here. And I'm thinking on opening this to fansubbers again, by the way. That fansubbers can actually inject their subtitles in here. That's what I'm trying to do. Alright, the request, right? 10 gigabytes per month. It's just gonna be 0.015 per gigabyte, and say units. I don't think I'm gonna pass this on one. Say 10. Another trick, guys. If you press F4, you can switch between the dollar signs. If you don't know what the dollar signs are, it's like depending when one of the nice tricks about Excel is that you can like fix a reference of a cell, and then if you can copy and paste it, it will keep the reference and then change certain values. Right now, I'm probably not going to be showing you because this is not what I need. But I can come in here. You see when I copy and paste, it will actually change the letters around here. And I'm going to add a total. Which, by the way, I think... Control T. It's okay. And I'm just going to add... Oh, man. 5.15. Okay, good. And it's going to be the 10 gigabytes storage. This is actual storage. I'm gonna insert. And we're gonna come back in here. I'm gonna come back to the pricing of Cloudflare. And we're gonna see here class A operation for a million requests. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. 4.50. Okay, what is class A operations? Then imitate state. Read existence state. That's it. 0.36 million per request. And read from storage. Value. What I'm going to be reading. 100,000? No. 100,000? 100,000? Oh my god. It's going to be 0.36. So it's going to be 36. And no, I don't think it's prorated, right? No. So I'm going to have one. Oh, this is awesome, man. To internet. There you go, guys. There you go. This is what I'm showing. I'm showing you. Let me see if I can zoom this in. Okay. Egressing directly from R2, including via the workers APIs, S3 API, and R2.dev domains, does not incur data transfer egress. But if you connect other meter services to an R2 bucket, you may be charged by those services. That's what I was telling you when you have to be very careful when you're configuring your infra. Like when this is very simple. This is not, there's nothing like to take into consideration or to worry about. But you can get charged and a lot of money by that because they all know that this is the data that you really care. Because to be honest, like you're probably gonna be working on some sort of technology that abstracts the infrastructure completely. Even though you don't like most people don't believe it, but like running Node, Python, Ruby, C Sharp, like all of these application programming languages, they already create an abstraction layer to your infrastructure. They already do. They already do. Unless you go like for very deep systems level programming that you're already like manipulating the shell or doing some sort of things. And even then, but like the programming language itself is an abstraction layer. And now you're working on top, even on top of Docker, which even simplifies things a lot more, because with all the installation and tooling, then it's kind of easy, like moving across across different cloud providers. What makes it really difficult is when you're moving the data, and especially if you're doing either a multi-cloud or probably doing something called zero downtime, which means that you're having everything live and you're having traffic from one way, then you have to deploy the changes into some other place, test the changes, see that everything is working, and then redirect that flow. It can be pretty challenging when it comes to having like a very all of those things. Now we have it. I think our estimated cost is going to be like $5.51, which is freaking amazing. Even if this grows and we get like a probably 1,000 users per day or per month, it's not gonna move the needle. Okay, now that we know that, we're gonna go into programming. We're gonna go directly into programming because I want to configure like the entire monorepo, and we're also gonna think a little bit on the architecture. Actually, I was thinking that we should definitely. No, I want to bootstrap the project first. It really makes. Right now, it makes no difference because this is we're just prototyping things. So I'm gonna go to Wrangler, getting started, CLI, Node.js, PNPM, create the latest file first worker. I don't know if I can use Bun. PNPM is really fast, and especially for these kind of things. And what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be creating like a monorepo, by the way. And I'm gonna create this, and I'm gonna use Turbo Repo just because. And we got the Turbo Repo, we got NX, we also got Rush. I don't like Rush, I hate Rush. And between these two, Turbo Repo gives me the possibility of having everything like very lean, and that's what I'm going to be using. which in fact I'm just going to be using PNPM workspaces because we're not going to need to do more things. But here it is, how we're converting an existing repository to a monorepo. I've done this like several times, and I've hated this because there wasn't like a proper explanation. But we'll create our apps folder, and we're gonna call this the extension. Extension, and we're gonna also call this the backend. I'm gonna move. I want to leave Claude. I'm gonna create the build, and no, I'm gonna leave the node modules there. PNPM log.yaml, right? TS config and the config.ts. I'm just gonna move everything. Now let me leave the TS config in here. I'm gonna move everything to the extension folder. I'm gonna move it. It's gonna break the although nothing's gonna change. It's gonna break my extension in Vivaldi because it was pointing to this other direction. But what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna go search for Turbo repo and get started. I really don't. There's not gonna be a lot gained from here, besides like easier CLI for me to move around into installation. It has button. It has button. Oh, it has button. I want to use button. Oh, PNPM button. Let's use button. I don't know if this is gonna complain because. Okay, yeah, we just do it here. And it's just button. What I'm gonna do is that it generally I don't think there's like a CLI tool that will let you like scaffold or bootstrap a project on a non-empty directory. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna generate everything here in the way where it says like my turbo repo, and then I'm just gonna copy the files outside of it, and then you see apps, docs, web. Okay, awesome. Let me just check. But it actually did. Come on, man. It's always about Next.js, right? Packages, yes, let's config, TypeScript config, UI, freaking Next.js. Oh man. Well, so I'm gonna delete this. Adios. Gonna hear package.json. And dev dependencies, Preader. Actually, we're not gonna be using Preader. TypeScript, we're gonna be using it. Node, okay. Fun package manager. Alright. We're gonna be using Biome, which it's kind of newer and I like it. And we're gonna move everything turbo.json on here. Outputs next. I don't think. Yeah, we're gonna change this. I'm gonna leave it like this. And what I'm gonna do, packages, ESLint config. I'm not gonna use ESLint. And the TypeScript config, I'm gonna leave it here. But I'm gonna remove the UI. I'm gonna move to packages in here. Let me check that I'm doing everything right. Okay. I already got a git ignore. Oh, it's really exhausted. Do I have a git ignore? I don't have a git ignore. Wait. Oh, right. I moved it. I actually moved it to the apps folder. No, to here. The extension. Yeah, this is the one. Let me see if it actually has it. Yeah, it does have it. So I can just delete this. Got the extension, turbo repo, apps, package.json. Oh, something I didn't check was if they all had like a package.json. I don't think so, right? Yeah, they did have it. Exports, scripts, repo.ui. That was something important. Repo TypeScript config, repo ESLint config, dev dependency. And the TS config, repo TypeScript config read library.json. Right. So we're gonna share our TypeScript config. And let me see something, because I think that you gotta define everything. Package.json, we're gonna move it here. We're gonna have the readme. We're gonna delete it. We're gonna move the turbo and the PMRC here. Node modules. We're gonna move it here. No, we're gonna cancel it. It's gonna cancel. Delete. They're linked anyways. I'm gonna move to trash apps. To a repo. I think we're done. And now what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna move. No, I don't want the ESLint config nor the TypeScript config. Package, and we're gonna move repo to Sugarashi. See, TypeScript. Don't worry about this. I don't need this. I'm gonna be using React. This is a base config. I'm not gonna be using the base config. I'm gonna be using the tsconfig.json. I like to put this base.json. Next, adios. Okay. So what we're gonna be extending. And I think this is gonna be needed anyways. I think I'm just gonna have like each of the files having like a similar tsconfig.json. And the reason is, I'm gonna tell you the reason. Because Cloudflare Workers does not support everything. So we have like really bad compatibility when it comes to the node environment. We're not gonna be using a lot of packages. We're gonna be doing this like very bare bones. We're gonna see how we're gonna be working on this. Create like something called domain driven design. That's gonna allow us and to have like a very modular architecture, kind of like into what we call microservices without using microservices. You don't want to use microservices. You want to avoid microservices at all costs. Only use them when they're actually needed, because you gotta orchestrate them. This is a service that a friend of mine showed me called Temporal. It's costly, like $100 per month, but it's like the best software I've ever used in the last few years. I had an experience back when I was working with the school management system again, and this was a lot of the problems because you had to orchestrate different services. I had the authentication system in Auth0, and I had to create like a massive number of accounts. So Lambdas had the problem that they would time out like in 30 seconds. And long running operations, you gotta fire them off like to the backend. And well, they wouldn't like necessarily like timeout. They would, but also like the front end would have very, very, very bad experience, because you would just sit down and wait for it to finish. So what you had to do is like you get a Lambda, send a response back, then the Lambda would communicate with another Lambda in the back, and that Lambda in the back end would actually do all the work. And if the work was like very long, it would actually time out. So what you had to do, especially if you were like doing parallel processing, is you had to break the Lambda into different Lambdas and then have them work together. The problem was with orchestrating them. Even if you don't believe this, as soon as you go serverless, you're working with a service-oriented architecture, with a microservice, with a service entirely. And that means that all the problems with SOA, with the service-oriented architecture, are inherited. You got network failures. You got then have to handle like what happens if the application remains in a very inconsistent state. And believe me, it was horrible. It was horrible. I resorted to a service that AWS created for that called step functions. But the problem was that you had to declare the state with a JSON file. And the problem with everything that is not an actual programming language that can be type checked is that you would just reference things the wrong way. JSON is very, unless you had like a linter, a predefined linter right built into the VS Code, which I didn't have at the time. They had like a VS Code extension, but it was not good. You would just mess up with the names and everything. And how would you orchestrate that using an infrastructure as a code tool? It was also very, very painful, very, very painful. So that's why I was telling you that back in the day we had a really bad. It was very challenging working with a serverless environment, like going fully serverless, because you wanted to save costs. That was not probably the good thing to do. We can talk a lot about that. I have like very bad memories, very bad memories, and I still have all the code. We can take it some time, take it to go over all of this code, how all the infrastructure worked. It was horrible. It was the biggest application I ever built. I spent more than 3,000 hours on that startup, and now I'm just trying to have some fun, get this out to some of the people. I'm like, hey, here's Subarashi. The thing that I don't remember is that it's in here. UI, TUI, Turbo UI. I don't remember how. I think Claude knows about this, right? Okay, because I can do package.json, build turbo, run, build. Let me come in here, package.json, and say Subarashi extension. Let me see, because I don't remember if this bond build. All right, run build. Did it actually run? Oh, it did run. No, it didn't run. Right, because the command was not working. Let me just do this. I migrated the repository to become a mono repo, and I moved my code to the apps extension folder. Can you please fix it so I can build the project correctly? One thing that really, 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 really I don't like to do is configuring things, especially when it comes like to repository and everything. I've spent, guys, I cannot tell you how many lost hours I've done, because there's like a certain configuration you need to do, just gets out of the framework's way, and you're then having a really bad time. Yes, package manager. No. Keep using bump. Remove pm lock.yaml. Because I don't think Wrangler uses Node. No. Wrangler uses, right, I remember. It's a different portable version of the web standards API. Yes. I know that I can run Claude code with the skip dangerously permission, but I like to see what's actually doing. Although I don't check it. I know this is actually kind of pointless, but at least I don't let it like run a little bit wild. Yes, fun install. Build Firefox next. The build Firefox thing, we're not using it anymore. I wonder where it's actually getting it. Fun run build. Excellent. Now let me check if you have Firefox build support and add the missing. Can you please update Claude.md? You know what? Do your shit. It's the same thing. But to be honest, I'll need to create like two different manifest.json files. Because there's like a certain key whenever I'm building it that isn't there. Actually, I can just, it's okay. No, it is not okay. I just want one single file. I don't want you to write a Firefox manifest.json nor a vid Firefox TS. What I want you to do is to have a single manifest.json. Update the CloudMD to reflect these changes. And when you're building for Firefox, I want you to remove the building for Chrome. I'm going to remove the browser specific browser specific settings. Love whisper flow settings. Can I do this? And because this is what happens whenever you're this is my first time building an extension, and I find it like really funny because I'm learning more from examples than actually reading the documentation. I'm just like stuck. Come here, check for the output, manifest transform. I just strip Firefox. Okay, yeah, let's do it. I like this approach better. By the way, guys, something really important. I'm doing this because I'm planning on having fun. But when I'm working on a startup, I avoid now like trying to delve time in code. I just try go directly talk with people, gather as much feedback as possible, and then try to push the code thing as far away as possible. Because the thing is that number one is that the application itself is not the business. You're working on something. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I've been like awake since 3:30 a.m. because of my kid. Why you want to have a bitconfig.firefox.ts? I don't think you need it. Can you just pass a custom flag too? You know what? I'm just gonna fix it later. Because you don't need this. You don't need the bitconfig.firefox.ts file. You don't. You don't. You can just have it's because it's the same configuration. I think I think VS Code just broke. Jesus. Yeah, make the edits. I have no idea what you're doing. I wonder why my node modules is getting holy shit. Is this really a thing? Is this really a thing? Did I commit the node modules folder? I did commit the node modules folder. Yes. The manifest file hasn't been copied yet when the plugin runs. I need to fix the plugin to use close bundle hook instead of right bundle. Yes. I need to reload VS Code. VS Code is broken right now. Let me wait for this to finish. Now let's verify the Chrome manifest into the Firefox build. Yes. Extension turbo build Firefox. Git hit ignore. Right. Cat, okay. Essentially verifying that everything is working. Deliberating. It's now testing all of its implementations. Man, you broke my header. You broke the entire header. Let me see if I can close all. Nothing. This is gone, man. I gotta reload Mobius code. It's now working. All right, now reload window. Okay, let me see what you did. You came here to read manifest.json. Manifest transform. Out there, build Firefox. No. So what I'm gonna tell you to do, and let's finish this pretty soon. I'm gonna use the repository. Beautiful, beautiful. Now I want you to have a single v.config.ts file, and you're going to switch between the Firefox build and the Chromium build by passing a flag to the CLI tool of V. vit.config.ts file. So apparently this is working now, and the turbo.json, it's actually, I don't know. I don't want to use the Next.js. dt dum dum. I don't know if the thing is that I don't know if this should be like this. Make edit out there. Process.m browser Firefox. Ah, there you go. Yes, and don't ask again. There we go. Envisioning. Which, by the way, Node v24. It's okay. I'm not. Node has changed so much, and I'm impressed that I've never keep up to date with it. I just don't. And it has like a gazillion of new APIs. I don't know about all the good new things. It's gonna update all the both builds. You see, it's much cleaner. It's way much cleaner. Bun install, yeah. I'm gonna run bun install. I'm gonna run bun install, and I'm gonna come in here. Build outputs. It's okay. Again, build Firefox. You may realize now that I'll probably have like cursor down there, and I have disabled the autocomplete completions and everything, and that was intentional, because the thing is that the cursor is like attached to the company's account, and I currently don't want to use it. And Cloud Code is amazing, kicks ass. So we're gonna run build. We're gonna run build. We're gonna run build. Firefox node modules. Okay. Okay, apparently I messed up. TCF. turbo repo migrated to a mono repo. Turbo.json. By the way, if you notice this, there's like something called screen reader optimize, and this is actually because Whisperflow is using it. If you don't know Whisperflow is like a text to speech program that I was seeing it around. I think Android Carpathy mentioned it a little bit, but like I was very dubious and very hesitant to use it. But I began using it. I said, like, you know what? I'm just gonna give it a try. And yo, I gotta say, once you're writing things for a long time, it helps a lot. And I have a small baby. He's 10 months old, and it's very useful when you have it like jumping around and things like that. You're able to talk with your voice, and this is very precise. It is very precise. Okay, I think are we set? Are we set with the turbo repo configuration? I think we're set. Let me see. Unlock Sorash extension. Workspaces. My turbo repo. I don't want to be. It's called Sorash. And install. Clear. Turbo build. It did work. So one important thing is that I think that the outputs should be apps, or wait, apps extension build dot gi bam, not g around bam oh bam extension no build Firefox. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good, right? I think we're good. Okay, this is all good. And I've pushed the changes. Okay, say GCF, and I'm gonna say this was a snippet, by the way. This was a snippet. Gonna call this monorepo configured monorepo using turbo repo. And I use turbo in here. Now we have a turbo monorepo, a very simple monorepo. That's the thing that I really wanted. And by the way, I don't think is it. Oh right, the workspaces. That's what I wanted to know. Workspaces. Yeah, it is defined in here. That's the thing that I wanted to confirm. So there's something really important. Like you really don't need turbo repo. I don't need it. I'm just using it because I don't know. It's like a little bit easier. But a simple mono repo can be configured just using your package manager like yarn, pnpm, and bun. And I don't know if I think npm also supports workspaces, but I think that the one that does it the best is, well, the two that does it the best is pnpm and bun. And bun really makes it really easy because you just have to define it like inside of the package.json. In pnpm you have to define it like in a separate YAML file called pnpm workspace.yaml. And what I really about turbo repo versus because I don't think that you gotta use the package.json in here. Well, it's because I'm defining the scripts and everything. But the thing is that it's like very minimal. It doesn't interfere with any of what you were doing. So that's good. That's really good. So what I'm gonna do right now is that I'm gonna come back to Vivaldi. We're gonna come back in here and I'm gonna go to the Cloudflare workers because we gotta start with Wrangler. Let me see, bun create. What is the equivalent of what was it? baby woke up. The baby woke up. The baby woke up. Cup, 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 cup. I'm gonna give it some time. Okay, and we're gonna apply the same thing in here. Guys, there is a high chance that I'll have to end the stream right now. A high chance. So we're gonna get the baby. The baby already woke up. I think we did a really long stream. I'm very happy of the thing. What I'm doing right now is the hello worker, framework starter, application starter. No, hello world example. Workflow plus durable objects plus assets, workflow, scheduled worker, plus durable objects plus assets. This is exactly what we're going to be doing. TypeScript. This is exactly what we need. So what I'm doing, I'm just scaffolding the initial project. Let me see if my wife takes care of the baby, or if I need to take care of him. I'll probably go and get him. So I know this is where it starts to get really interesting, but I'll probably go and fetch them. No, she's gonna give him some breast. She's gonna breastfeed him, and probably it's gonna buy us like 3 minutes. But just so you know that I'll have to like turn off the stream really fast. I mean in the very next few minutes. So we got my first worker, and what I'm just gonna be doing is that we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna move everything that we have in here. We got the public, we got the source. We don't need the index.html file. I don't. But this is like the assets, right? Let me see what ended up like scaffolding. Oh no, we didn't durable objects. We really didn't. Source. No. You know what? I'm just gonna delete this. And clear. Let's create it again. Bonex. Hello world example. And we're just gonna have a small workflow TypeScript. I want something very minimal. We're just gonna add the things. And I want to use the TOML file for the configuration. You want to use Git version control? Yes. You want to deploy your application? Yes. Oh, no, 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 wait a minute. Because I'm logged into it into the company's account. Okay. I'm gonna do the configuration later on. But we're gonna do this later. Okay? We're gonna do this later. Settings at JSON. JSON C. Configuration JSON. Worker configuration. Okay. Now I'm just gonna move everything here. Source, index. Dun, 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 dun. Backend. Cloudflare workers. Move it. And let's just move this VS Code in here. Extension. Package just JSON. Wrangler deploy, Wrangler def. And we're gonna come back in here. I'm gonna come to visit VS Code. Okay, the backend, tsconfig. Jesus, all these comments. Configurations, the environment. I have no idea what are all of these, but we're gonna look for it. MDN reference. What is some expression representing a normal event called an exception that occurs as a result of calling a method or accessing property of a web API? Okay, I know that. Since for your goals. Okay, but that's good because it's actually very beginner friendly. And it says run this.env event.payload step.do step. What is step? Workflow step. Workflow step. they also introduced like this orchestrator. Oh, that's why I have like a lot of things. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna reinitialize the repository. My first worker. I'm just gonna delete this. Clear. The thing is that there you go. I was not seeing anything. It's a worker only thing. TypeScript. There we go. I was like wondering like why do I have all of this? I don't need all of this. Why is it explaining me all these things? Damn, test. I don't want to test it. Yes. An application. No. And I don't want to use Breeder. Leave the header config. Package.json. And we're gonna probably do this Subarashi backend. And tsconfig.json. Read config. It actually brought more shit to the repository. It's okay. You can come here, source. It should be, yeah, it should be pretty lean. That's what I was looking for. So I'm just gonna move everything in here. I'm going to move to the back end. Move. Or you want to replace? Yeah, I want to replace everything. So I'm going to delete this. Package.json. Say add the turbo in here. Build. I'm going to say def. Here. On def. No, but wait a minute. Why do I have the... I never configured def. Oh, that's cool. But... Oh, we did it. Nice. Nice. Actually did it. So I think that if I do... And I come in here. Clear. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Curl. HTTP localhost 8787. That's actually working. Okay, the API is working. We already got the Cloudflare configuration up and running, and I'm just gonna do it. And it's working with Turbo Repo. This is really nice. I didn't have to do like a lot of configuration. So GCF. It's a snippet that I have, and I'm gonna call it Cloudflare. Initialize Cloudflare workers configuration. Even though this is like open source, like people are not probably will not be able to push this. So don't worry about somebody getting access. Keep coming feature Cloudflare. Wait. Keep that. Why you don't wanna work? What the hell is going on? Well, the good news is that we already got it up and running. And okay, he's done. Guys, I'm sorry. I'll have to cut off the... Wait, is he gonna sleep? Please tell me that he's gonna keep sleeping. Please tell me that he's gonna go for another nap. Please tell me about that. Please tell me that. Tell me that. He has his eyes a little bit open, but I don't know if he's just gonna sleep, because if he's not, I have to go and pick him up. And I'm having a lot of fun right now. He does what I call the Lapras, like the Pokemon, because he just wakes up. with his head on top, and then that's when I know that I have to intervene. Well, he's so far like laid down. Let's take this time because, well, because we're not gonna finish. Because right now we're gonna be focusing on is a little bit on the architecture of the backend and what's gonna be our thought process on injecting the subtitles. So I'm gonna come back to Excalibur. This isn't the. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I know you guys are more visual, but you're gonna be surprised. The best way for you to write, for you to perform like an architectural overview, is to actually write it. He's moving. He's moving. I can see him like through the camera right now. It's like so fun. The it's actually writing. So in the back end, let me think. Right now we're gonna need to have architecture.md for the backend, and we're gonna have, for example, we need a way for us to store the TV series. Let's call it like that, like Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. So we're gonna have, we will probably need something like this. I was gonna write it like in Prisma. We're not gonna use any ORMs. Any ORMs. Model series. Singular of series. Yeah. It is plural series and singular. Okay. Model series. Want to have an ID in here. This is gonna be a ULIT. I'm seeing a ULIT later on, and I'm gonna name. It's gonna be a string. I'm gonna call it like this. I like to define it with Prisma style. Oh, it actually worked because it's very simple to actually see it. We're not gonna be using Prisma. We're not. We're probably gonna be using a little bit of Drizzle just to define the schema, but I'm not gonna use any ORM to write any of the queries. And the reason is that ORMs, while they do work, well, they are very good when it comes to abstracting layers, they tend to be very problematic after a while. So I just decided not to use them. I'm going to use something called the repository pattern, which we're going to be covering in following videos, which is going to be way interesting. Now we're going to define our database because that's going to be like the first thought. And you're gonna see a little bit of my process that I just begin like dumping my brain, and then I just find a way to organize them. So we're gonna have the ability to store the TV series. We're also gonna need a way for us to have a way to, well, TV series will need to have episodes, right? Series will have episodes. So we also have to go here and define like a model episode, which is going to be series ID, which by the way, I'm going to name it like this, series ID. It's going to be a ULIT. Episode ID. It's going to be another ULIT. Crunchy, well, you can use the Crunchyroll ID in here. Episode ID, which will be Crunchyroll ID, and we're going to run an index of episode ID, a series ID, episode ID. Oh, by the way, I think that Cloudflare supports all of this, right? I've never used the D1 storage. I'm just assuming. And we're going to need the subtitle location. It's going to be a string. Gonna be the durable, no, is it the R2 location? R2 location. And what else are we gonna need? So far, that's the thing, right? We're just gonna store all all the subtitles. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be scraping, and I'm going to show you how we're going to be scraping this. We're going to scrape the entire thing, and the only thing that we really care about is this ID over here, which is unique for all the series. And I'm just adding this because we won't need this for Naruto, right? We would add. Wait, sorry, I'm just jumping around. We need this ID, which is the episode ID, and we can figure it out because if we go in here, you can see in the small left corner that everything changes. To 8, see more episodes, and you can see at the bottom left corner of my browser that things changes, and that they all have like a unique ID, which is very interesting. I don't know how they have their database structure on the back end, because you would think that, or maybe no, it's like a unique ID. Okay, so I don't know how they have it structured. Probably in some efficient format, which we're not going to replicate. And categories, Crunchyroll. I'm going to come in here. And for example, I'm just going to look for Naruto Shippuden. So they have the watch and they have the series. They have the watch and they have the series. I'm also going to use this as the Crunchy ID, because Crunchyroll's ID. I'm not going to be using the US. And ID. Now that there's going to be the ID. And the name, we're not going to index that. What we're going to be doing, we're going to get the episode's ID. That's how we're going to understand that we're going to have like a specific subtitle file that we're going to inject. Now, for the scraping, how are we going to do this? This is what I'm thinking. We're going to be using Playwright or Cheerio for doing the scrape. I'm going to go series by series, step by step. And I have to find out how can I access the iframe. But we're going to listen to the network tab. And we're going to get the .ass file, which is in here. We're going to download it. And then I'm going to do some offloading processing. And I'm going to then store it in the database and create the episode with the subtitle file. I think I don't need anything more fancy than that. And I think that that's it. Guys, we're starting an MVP. We don't want to do like a lot of things. And I think that's what's going to do. We're going to detect the series and the episode through the ID, which, by the way, I'll have to look for it. No, wait, my bad. Still, I'm like used to open cursor every time. Series ID, episode ID, and I'm probably gonna have like a separate index of episode ID. Also, the ID is going to be the series ID. I don't know if this is gonna be like way more efficient, but to be honest, I can always add this index later. I'm gonna have these things in here. Yeah, because I can get all the episodes from the series by... Oh, no, wait, my bad. Episode ID, series ID, and the subtitle location. Which I don't know if I'll have to make it like undefined or not. But anyways, this is what we're going to be doing. It's going to be very simple. And what's going to be the backend? What's the backend going to do? Well, first, we're going to read from the URL how it will work. I'm going to read from the URL. How's this site? What is a website that allows me for free to model the flows of the program? I don't remember the word of this diagrams that you use with the arrows and everything. I want to do this. Chart.io, Lucid Chart, no. Glitmine, Miro, no, it's not Miro. No, no. I was referring more to this. It's not ER diagrams? No, 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 no. Anti-relationship diagram. No, no, no. No, no. I forgot about the name, but it's like the one that you use for network. Mermaid. It's mermaid. I think it's mermaid. It is mermaid. I think it was mermaid. Oh no. No, no. My bad. It was not mermaid. Dude, I forgot. Oh man. I forgot. Something. It's probably gonna look that code. Thinking longer for a better answer. Guys, do you know the name? I forgot. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. But I want to show you because I wanna visualize it for you. Because otherwise I would be using a little bit of the whiteboard, and once I would have like the whiteboard ready, I would write down like a documentation. Arrow syntax diagram is code. Mermaid. No. It's not a UML. Okay, I am gone. I am gone. No, it's not. It's like flowchart class sequence. Is it a sequence? It is a sequence diagram. Oh wait, I saw it. Well, it's okay. I think Mermaid is gonna do a wonderful job in here. So I was referring to a sequence diagram. Well, okay, we're gonna figure out how this works. All right, now. So plus John, Alice plus John. Okay, we're gonna take it in here and sequence diagram. Can you do tab? I can do tab. All right, and we're gonna come back to our docking in VS Code. So this is what we need. What needs to happen? First, we got our front end. Front end, it's gonna send you know what, screw this. I'm just gonna draw it. Okay, so first of all, we need to do. We're gonna come in here and we need to read the URL. The URL is gonna give us, it's gonna be doing some whiteboarding in here, and we're gonna extract the episode's ID, and then it's gonna go to the backend. Cloudflare worker, and it will look using the ID, episode ID. It will look for the entry in the database. Database returns the R2 URL. R2 URL And since this is gonna be like an open, I'm thinking something. So since this is going to be like an open API, probably, and I need to look for a way that it cannot be abused as well, because I don't want somebody like playing really dirty with me. So I need to throttle the service. Thankfully, Cloudflare, it has like DDoS protection built in into the service, so that's good. But I think this is going to be like something really simple. So I'm going to read the URL, extract the episode ID. It's going to go directly to the Cloudflare worker backend. It's going to read the episode, the database return the R2 URL, and then it is downloaded. Right, because who's gonna call this? I'm gonna do this right now. Before we improve this, I think I'm gonna do this a little bit manually. So whenever I call load subtitle, it will read the URL. So this is what will happen. This is why writing is more powerful. We're gonna click the load subtitle button. Then I'm going to read the URL, extract the episode ID. 3, I'm gonna send the payload to the Cloudflare worker server. 4, I'll extract the episode ID, search it on the database, get the R2 URL, and send the subtitle file back to the front end. 4, the front end will then load the subtitle file directly into the browser. I think you saw this how badass was this? I think this is gonna be it. We don't need anything more complicated than this. So and it's gonna work wonders. So now that I've tested this, I'm gonna come in here and workers. I'm gonna search D2. No, I was using Vivaldi, right? Yeah. Naruto, no, get started, and we've got D1. It's not R2, it's D1. Okay, I'm getting started. Okay, over here, there is a command line. Still no JS. Prod 1 tutorial, D1 databases. Oh, by the way, I'm not having a staging environment. I'm not gonna do this. So something that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do this off screen, right? Cloudflare dash.cloudflare.com, because I don't want it to be like littering around the streams. And let me see, dude, I'm surprised. I've been streaming for a very long time. I'm not complaining. I can keep streaming because I'm having a lot of fun. So I'm about to log into Cloudflare. Let me see if I can use my Gmail account for this. I have like a specific like developer account. Your password. Fill. Use your phone or tablet to get a security code. No, it's right away. Use your passkey. The problem with the passkey is that I don't know. but I don't have a passkey. Use your phone or tablet to get a security code. Let me see if do I have it in here. Let me see if I have it on my tablet or not. Probably. Guys, give me 1 second. Let me look for my phone. I don't have it around here to get one of the access codes for. I'll be like instantaneously back. All right, I'm back. So I'm looking for the security code for my Google account. I gotta use my phone for this, and your Google account. I gotta go here. Google services. No, it's not the account. This is the account. Cross device sharing. Manage your Google account. Manage your Google account. Google account. Google password, data and privacy, payment subscription. Security and sign in, right? Says security tab, yeah. Just a verification security code to verify it's you. Okay, got it. So it's gonna be dot 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 dot. Wrong code. Oh no, this is not the one that I was looking for. It's this one. Okay. Dot 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 dot. And we're logged in. Okay. So I'm gonna click continue. Is that the dashboard that I want to use? Software dashboard is loading. I'm gonna move everything in here so everybody can see. Oh wait. Nah, it's just dash.com. So, oh man, again, continue with Google. Oop. An error occurred during the login process. Please try again and contact customer support. You know what? I'm just gonna use one of my old accounts. Although I don't want to do that. Well, it's okay. Okay, click next. Jesus Christ. Again, one of those like security codes. Security code. Shoot. Okay. Gonna be dun 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 dun. Okay, let's get back into action. Let me see if I can get it up and running on Cloudflare. Dude, I'm surprised the baby's still sleeping. 7:40 a.m. He went to bed at 4:20 a.m. and he's still going. This is amazing. Please verify your email address. Do you present your domain? I don't want to purchase any domain. But okay, I get it. think I ended up. I did remove it. Give me a second. Oop. I'm still using head center. That's true. And let me see if I have it in junk. I know that I'm not showing anything in the screen right now. No, temporal. No, that's not it. Inbox. Inbox. It hasn't reached. It has not reached. Click to resend. Verification email sent. Okay, I still don't have it. Why? All inboxes. Nope. I'm still not getting it. Still not getting it. Oh, there you go. Receive. Verify your email. Dude, email is one of those things that you underestimate like 100%. I remember back when I was setting it up like for the second or third time that I was not using like the actual address. That emails would take like so long to reach out to the destination because of the warming of the IP address. Let's say it's going to be a personal project. I'm going to be a developer and engineer, and I want to be myself. Protect your app and user. Oh, you know the good thing is that I don't need to purchase a domain. I don't. And we're gonna use R2. Yeah, I should probably put my card. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm putting my card. Country, United States. So I'm not currently in the States right now. Nope. So fab. Give me a second. Let me open my Google Keep. Oh man. Okay. Give me a second. Albuquerque, New Mexico, country United States, zip code 87110, account type business. News LLC. Oh, security code. Give me a second. I'm adding the security code of the card. Hold on. In those last steps. 693. Okay. Dun 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 dun. Let me see, am I in the billing? Okay. I think that we're good to go. I think we're good. It's currently, let me see, how's the live stream doing? Oh. So, let me see. All right, guys, we're getting it on it. We're getting on it. So we're gonna first start with the D1 SQL database. Ranker D1 create my DB name. So I'm gonna come in here, go here to, oh my god, cursor, it's always cursor. I'm gonna come, I'm only using cursor because apparently the VS Code extension is broken. I'm gonna come in here, and I'm gonna cd into apps backend. Let's say Wrangler. Gotta update Wrangler. It's always very important to have all of these updated. Wait, no. No, I created it wrong. God damn it. God damn it, man. Damn it. I screwed up. I'm just gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete this. Okay, it didn't create anything. Alright. So create Subarashi. Oh man, okay. No. Okay, Subarashi DB. It says create a new D1 database. I have no idea if I have like now like 30 of this database. It doesn't say anything in here, so I suppose that none of these databases have been created, or that I don't know if it actually takes some time to reflect on the data on the dashboard, but no, it doesn't. All right, it's good. Your language ever had? Yeah. What might you like to use? Subarashi DB. Yes. Or whether you want to connect to a remote resource instead of the local resource? Yes. All right. So let's see what it actually did. We'll have to check. So we got the config name, my first worker note. I'm gonna say, whoop, Subarashi worker. It's gonna be the name. Oh, yeah, this. Oh, compatibility date 2015, 12:05. Wait, did they release something today? No, it's still from last year. D1 databases, okay. We got that one good. That's good. All right, my friends. All right. So, database ID, and I'll create something called shared. I have the emp.ts file. Export. I'm gonna look for it because I already have the configuration already set up. So if I refresh, I should probably have the empty database. If not, oh shit. Wrangler, who am I? Shit. I have. That's why it was not showing up. Oh my god. How can I enter with the company's account? Wrangler, change account. Oh my god. Run a regular command with account management. Oh, I like this. I like this. MPX if man. Okay. Add your first Cloudflare account. You know what? I'm gonna stop the stream anyways. I think we've done quite a lot. I'm gonna end up like configuring Cloudflare later on. So thank you very much guys for tuning in. We'll see each other pretty soon.